verse.
G'day, Josh here. Thought I'd go into this morning about how I'm using my Helix. A lot of you have seen me on the stage MDing and a few jams and things, but I've never really sort of gone into it. Never really talked too much, to be fair, on how I've set it up and how I'm running it. I'm not really running it that differently to most, but one thing that I do love about the Helix is that it's the versatility in terms of being able to create a different pedal board at the click of a couple of buttons per song. So that's kind of the way I'm using it through the snapshots and everything like that. So I thought I'd go into that today. So a lot of you know that I'm running the Helix Rack that you can see. So I've got the control unit on the floor with two Ernieball expression pedals. So this one on the right is my volume, master volume for everything. That one's used a lot. I've actually had to get the strings inside of it changed 3 or 4 times now, so it's had a bit of use. But I love these ones. The feel of them is great. The size of them is perfect for my feet as well, and I just love the tension that they have. The one on the left here is the same. However, I've got it as an expression pedal, so I actually have it set up for the POG. So the POG will actually be on if I go into chorus set up there. Go back into it. It just sort of, so the POG is actually set up as with a low octave in the Egypt preset. So that's what that's controlling. It rolls in how much of the low end I want. So it doesn't change the depths, it's just 1 octave lower, but it does change the intensity of it. That's what I like about it, actually, is that it's just creating these little changes just to give a little bit of dynamics and feel and change to the songs as you sort of need it. Obviously, different things can have a bigger effect, but I really like that. So, and it's also nicer if you're doing it, wanting to just bring the chorus down a little bit, not have it so intense. That's something you can take out of it. Just having that flexibility, because that's what I think a lot of people with this sort of setup that I'll get into in just a sec say is that, well, it's kind of set in stone, which I was worried about that first too, because I went from a massive pedal board, I think it was like 28 pedals on it, literally a U shape around me. I loved it. It was cool. So much work though. But the versatility of it and adding different pedals in as you wanted, layering in different delays and reverbs, layering all of that was a lot of fun. I absolutely loved it, that sort of feel. And I was worried when moving to the Helix if I would lose a lot of that capability. But as I sort of played, I haven't so much. And the biggest changes with this is there was a lot of tap dancing, especially in between songs. You're starting a song out. It's absolutely intense if you've got, 3 delays finishing the last ambient swell of a song and then rolling into something else, and you're quickly trying to change things. It can get pretty intense. So just a click of the button is actually a lot easier. To be honest, I love the Helix, and I wish I'd moved sooner. Yeah, one time round, and then we'll hit that bridge. Here we go, ready? Hitting that 6, pieces, big stabs. So as you can see, I am running it. Most songs are the same, where I'll start off with an intro, verse, we've got a chorus, and then usually it'll be a verse to pre-chorus, something like that. So I typically try to have that all along the bottom run. It's just muscle memory, I can remember. I jumped through a couple of presets. Yeah, same thing. Intro, swell, yeah, verse 1, chorus, verse, yeah, so that sort of thing. And just jump through the presets, as you can see. And then typically with Egypt's a big song, so I've got a verse 2 in there before rolling into the bridges, and then finally the big chorus at the end. This song's a big song, so usually I'd have, a bridge up the top there on the left, rolling into, maybe a bigger chorus, typical, and then sort of outro, that sort of thing. This one's a little bit different. It's got a few more parts. So rolling into a verse 2, which is a little bit different. I'll show you we've got a couple of things that are different here. So, of course, your verse 1 in this particular preset, there's a little bit more happening in it as well. So I've actually got it set so that there's, just jump in. Yeah, so I've got really a couple of things happening. The bloom, which is a big reverb, and then a chorus pedal. There's a couple of delays and things as well. But apart from that, I'm not really using any of the amps at this point. However, then we jump into a chorus, but we go into an interlude after that. So it sounds a little bit different. Again, we've still got the chorus in there, but we've actually got the POG as well. So that's quite interesting, rolling in. So we've just got that little and then straight from there we roll into verse 2. And verse 2 is a little bit different. There's actually 2 guitar parts here, but for me, instead of playing the first verse over, I actually like playing the second guitar part and just changing it up. So it's up on the 13th fret, rolling around the 13th, 15th. And I just think it makes the song just keep moving. It's a little bit happier, a little bit brighter, versus just playing the same thing. When we got the second guitarist, usually we'll decide who's going to play what.
Cloud by day, a sign that you are with me. The fire by night, the guiding light to my feet. 'Cause you found me, you freed me, held back the
So you can see that just sounds a little bit different than. There's a little bit more happening in the verse 2 preset than the verse 1, so and we've actually started now getting a little bit of the crunch coming back into as well as we roll into another big chorus. So it's just adding another level, going up the octave there. I think is really, really neat as well, and having the POG in there just creates a little bit more depth, which I believe is part of the original preset that I got from David Hislop, but I think I might have just amped it up because we don't have the second guitarist. Just to keep it going. Of course, then we hit another big chorus, but instead of going into the with the song, the choruses are all but the same. So I've just got the one chorus button actually preset on this changes. We've got the POG still is on there, drive, and then we get the boost. But fuzz won't come in until bridge 2 there. So as we head into the bridge, so really, as you can see, just as each part of the song goes, I can just click one, rather than trying to turn 4 or 5 different things on and off, I can just click one button, it jumps straight into it. Bridge 2, 1, 2. Here we go. One thing to note with the bridge on the album, they just carry on that same lick. They just carry on that lick over and over. But I remember watching his video, and he was saying, although he didn't do it on the album, when he plays live, he actually alternates, and it goes a little bit like this. And so that changes when they actually hit the progression. So we hit bridge 2, we've got the fuzz coming in, but I've pulled out a bit more of the ambient sound, so it's a little bit more, just because of how much fuzz it gets really. You get the picture there. So it's a little bit more intense than Bridge 2, just to, again, add another lift as we hit the end of the song. And that's so at the end of this one in particular. I actually have an ambient setting, and I try to do this for every preset I've got. I'll have something at the end. There we just got big chorus, actually, because that's another big song, House of Miracles. But low chorus, yeah, we'll have a low chorus or an ambient of some sort at the end of the preset. And the reason I do that is so that typically if it's not the first song or second song and it's towards the end of the set, the MD or someone calling or the leader may decide, well, hey, let's repeat, but we'll keep it low, keep it ambient, try to create some atmosphere. So I always try to keep a nice ambient sort of feel at the end, and it's nice to, on the stomp on the right here, you can actually go in, and that's where you've got control. So I can turn on more in, pedals or add things to it, take things out, depending on what's called for at the moment. Really helps kind of, you can pull things out. And if you want, you can start adding some more. Or if you think, that's a little bit too much, you can actually start taking out some of this stuff. We don't possibly need the all the ambient stuff happening. One thing to note is if I've turned all these buttons off, we go out of it, and then it's like, let's repeat that. There's a change, and at the end of the set, whatever it is, and let's go back to the song. We should go back. Notice how it automatically is gone. So I've saved this preset, so it automatically starts on the intro. I can actually just double tap save. Go back, change the preset. We go back into it. Now it's know how it's in verse 1. So that's really, really cool. But also on top of that, if we go back into the ambient setting up the top here, we look at the presets. I've turned all back on as well. So despite the last set, or the last time I went into the song, I turned all that off, had a little jam, finished the song, changed something else, gone back into it. It's all turned back on, and that's what's really neat as well. So you're not going to lose everything if you start playing around with and adding your pedals in and playing it in sort of pedal mode, which is really, really, and that's a feature that I really love. Change that back to the biggest issue with the Helix, with these snapshots, despite how versatile they are, is as you change, there's a little gap in the sound. It doesn't roll over. So when I turn, see if I can show you here. See how, it's pretty slow, but it can be a little bit annoying. And that's probably the only thing I really I'm hoping that one day they'll fix that. It's probably nothing they can do with this version, but maybe when they bring up another controller, it'll be something they'll look at. But having the versatility of going in and changing the different pedals and things as you go, I think that's one of the beauties of this preset as well. If I go into my jam setting, these are a lot more generic. I've got clean, drive plus, power and lead. So they're a lot more sort of a bit more generic. So I'm actually using the, you can see with the swells there, when we actually jump into the pedals, we've got dotted eighth and a quarter delay. We've got the swells there, which is the shimmer. And then we've also got the glitz verb running on that one as well. But then we go in and you can see we've actually got the looper there, which is really cool. And so I've got nothing in, just turn the Helix on, so there's nothing recorded in there. But that's neat as well. So if, the rest of the band's gone and it's just you, or if you and, some, the keys and that sort of thing, you can kind of start adding a bit, just to create a little bit more dynamic. So that's why I always have the jam on in any set. So how I create a set, let's roll into that a little bit. So super easy, rolling into a set. We've got the whole song list. Start off with the acoustic preset. I've actually got this in alphabetical order. It automatically doesn't do this. You have to do it yourself. But when you throw it onto the computer, you can just throw it in wherever you like and change it. What's really easy as well, you can click that and then just change it around if you want. So you put that up there. So, you can rearrange the order super easily. Heaps of songs thrown in here. And so, you might be thinking, right at the moment, comes in twice for some reason. We've got 58 songs thrown in there. And so instead of going through each one and trying to, click, 20 times to find the next preset, what I'll do is you'll jump across, create a Sunday set. Here we have, whatever the songs we've got, 2 or 3, might have an outro song that sounds quite a little bit different, so you can just rearrange it how you want. And we've got a jam session in between, for if someone comes up and speaks, we can play around that, and like I said, get the loop going if need be. So we've got the first 3 songs into probably some sort of ministry moment, then an outro song rolling into the sermon or whatever, if it's a different event, into the speaking main part, then maybe a song at the end as an outro, the whole thing. So that's kind of how we've got. We actually have Wednesday sets as well. And you can see here, as we roll into that, I've got a pad. So you can see the pads going because we play this one. So we've got a pad going. So this one's actually in key of C. They've got a pad going there, so we can kind of play in the C. That's kind of cool. And again, if you undo the pad, it just sort of fades out, which is really, really neat. Love that. Fades the pad in when you click it. So that's really cool. Again, if we then scroll over to the next preset, it turns off. It is pretty abrupt because, again, that's how it is with but it's nice because it fades back in if we go back into it. So going back into the preset. So that's the Wednesday set. And then we've got a night set as well, because usually we got Sunday morning, Wednesday, and we all set this during the week. Templates are never really used too much. And then, of course, 1 and 2 are the generic Line 6 sounds. Don't really use them. I like to make my own, but they're pretty big. So that's super easy. And again, to get to this, you click the preset button. Real easy. Scroll through. Let's go down to the song list. Let's go into The Enthroned or something like that. Yeah, so you kind of get the gist of it. So real quick and easy to get into as well. So if you need to change something or do find something on the fly, super easy. Then you just use your up and down and you click it. Super easy that way. And again, you can change your pre-order on the fly as well. So if real last minute, for instance, change comes, Sunday set, and we're like, all right, we're actually going to start. You can just, boom, House Miracle, click it, you're in, done. That's now your first song. All the things stay the same on the actual pedal board as well, in terms of, it will always start on the preset that you want, sorry, the snapshot that you want, snapshot 1 or 2, whatever the verse, however you're going. You can see the snapshots there, and is the one that's starting on. If I click over to snapshot 2, boom, you can see right up the top there, it's changed as well. So you can kind of, but I don't really use that too much because, of course, I can just see it on the floor in front of me. That's all lit up. But if you've got this side of stage, which I usually have this to the side, uses just an Ethernet cable. And what's neat is as well is that it takes the power through the Ethernet as well. So I don't need a separate power source to my pedal board, just the one black Ethernet cable, which is really, really neat. So that's really it. So hopefully that kind of helps with a little bit of how I run my Helix. Hopefully that was helpful to you. And if you've got any questions, put it below, and I'll try and answer.
You're the God who fights for me, Lord of every victory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You have torn apart the sea, you have led me through the deep. Hallelujah,
Right, chorus.
hallelujah. You're the God who fights for me, Lord.